Right now, with this whole social distancing thing, everyone feels like they can't communicate with each other. But what we don't realize is a tool that most of us use almost every single day. Social media is a great way to communicate with people when you can't in face to face. So you can also you can use Facebook, Instagram, Zoom, a lot of different platforms, FaceTime, things like that, or just hop on the phone and talk to people. But there's a lot of different forms of communication. And one of the main issues we have with communication, like I don't, I'm not, texting is not the best form of communication. I know that most of us, that's what we use, or like Facebook Messenger and things like that, which is, it works. Um, but the key is, especially with those, like you start to look at the messages and you put your filter on it based on how you think that person's tone is. Unless you use like emojis or something like that, then that can help a little bit. But the key is, if we're talking to someone, even through Messenger, we have to listen. And we have to listen first. And we have to listen with the intent to listen. And I've struggled with this as well, especially with my background. Like I'm more, I've in the past, I've always been a logic brain. And I've had the bad habit of listening with the intent to respond or listening with the intent to solve a problem. And a lot of times people don't want that. They just want you to listen just to listen. And I've gotten a lot better about it over the years. It's still a work in progress. Um, but if you reorganize the letters and listen, it spells silent. Because the majority of the time in your communication, you should be silent. The majority of your communication, especially in person, is silent. Your body language, your tone, your breathing, your eyes, like everything about you is communicating at all times. And it's not just the words that are coming out of your mouth. For instance, if someone has their arms crossed, then it shows that they're kind of in defense mode. They're not really open to conversation. If you ever notice you get like a really deep conversation with someone, chances are they don't have their arms crossed. Their arms are typically by their side. They're more relaxed. Same thing with legs crossed, kind of a similar situation. If you're sitting down, you can kind of tell, like, or like an interview, you'll notice like people are have different body language than if they're just talking to a buddy. Another thing I like to reference is we were born with one mouth and two ears because we're supposed to spend most of our time listening before we respond, and listening with the intent to listen, and listening with the intent to try to determine what that person is thinking about the words that are coming out of their mouth. Not just what we think they're trying to say, but actually really get in their head and trying our best to figure out what they really mean by what they say. And that's one of the hardest things to do. But if you can work on that and improve in that, it's going to improve your communication skills greatly. Because sadly, the majority of people nowadays don't do that. Most people just listen. If they listen with the intent to just respond or to solve a problem. They're just waiting for them to put their input in. And so when we break that down and just listen to people and really hear their heart on what they're trying to say, it completely opens the door for that relationship to grow and prosper. And you might end up helping that person a lot more than you realized without even saying a word. So especially right now with everything going on, like reach out to people, talk to people, see how they're doing. Like I said, there's a lot of fear and scarcity mindset in the world right now with everything going on. And now is the perfect time to practice your communication skills and talk to people and just hear what they have to say. Hear what they're thinking about. Hear whether they're scared. Hear how things going with their family and with their job. Like a lot of people's livelihoods have been like flip-flopped in a very short amount of time, pretty much overnight. So just listen to people. Pretty much everyone has been affected, at least to some degree, by this. So we're all, in some ways on the same page, in some ways not. So just listen to their heart and see what they have to say. And it could go a long way with a lot of people.